Hello, in this lesson we will learn about equations of lines that are parallel and perpendicular to other lines. So the learning goals are first to understand the concept of reciprocal and opposite reciprocal of a number, and second to identify and write the equations of lines parallel and perpendicular to other lines. Let's start with the concept of the reciprocal of a number. A number multiplied by its reciprocal, also called a multiplicative inverse, results in 1. To obtain the reciprocal of a number, flip the numerator and denominator. Let's start with this number, 4. To be able to flip numerator and denominator, I need to express 4 as a fraction. To do that, we divide 4 by 1, because 4 over 1 is the same as 4, but now it is expressed as a fraction. So now we have a numerator and denominator that we can flip. So let's flip them. The numerator 4 goes to the denominator position, and the denominator 1 goes to the numerator position. So 1 over 4 will be the reciprocal of 4. And if we multiply 4 times its reciprocal, 1 over 4, we get 1, which is a property of reciprocals. Every time you multiply a number times its reciprocal, you should get 1. Now let's go into another example, negative 2 over 3. Again, to get a reciprocal of this number, we flip numerator and denominator. So the negative 2 goes down, the 3 goes up, and like this we get the reciprocal, 3 over negative 2. So if we multiply negative 2 over 3 times its reciprocal, 3 over negative 2, we get 1. Now let's see another concept, which is the opposite reciprocal of a number. Basically, the opposite reciprocal is the reciprocal multiplied times negative 1. For example, we have the number 4. The reciprocal of 4 is 1 over 4, as we saw before. The opposite reciprocal would be the reciprocal times negative 1. In other words, we're going to change the symbol, the sign here. If this is positive, it becomes negative. So the opposite reciprocal of 4 is negative 1 over 4. All we do is we change the sign of the reciprocal from positive to negative, or if this is negative, the opposite reciprocal will be positive. Okay, now let's go into this parallel versus perpendicular lines. Here we have two lines that are parallel to each other. As you see, the slopes are the same. So when two lines are parallel to each other, they have the same slope, in this case 2. Now, that y-intercept has to be different, because if the y-intercept is the same, then it will be the same line. But we are interested in parallel lines, not lines that are identical. So now let's go into perpendicular lines. The product of the slopes of two perpendicular lines is negative 1. So if we have this line here, which is y equals 2x plus 1, and this line here, which is y equals negative 1 over 2x plus 1, and we multiply both slopes, 2 times negative 1 over 2, the 2's cancel, and we get negative 1. So notice that 2 and negative 1 over 2 are opposite reciprocals. So basically, a line with a particular slope will be perpendicular to another line that has an opposite reciprocal slope to the first one. So that's why when we multiply a number times its opposite reciprocal, we get negative 1. So just remember that the initial line has a slope that is the opposite reciprocal of the perpendicular line, to the first one. Now let's solve this problem here. Write the equation of the line that is parallel to this line here, y equals negative 3x minus 1, and passes through the point negative 1, 5. So the first step is we're going to copy paste this original equation. So we write y equals negative 3x minus 1. A line that is parallel to this line is going to have the same slope. So the parallel line will look like this: y equals negative 3x plus b. The slope is the same, but the y-intercept has to be different. So we don't know what the y-intercept of this parallel line is yet. To find out what the y-intercept is, we're going to write this equation, y equals negative 3x plus b, and we're going to use the point that they give us, this point negative 1, 5, and we're going to use that point to make the x negative 1 and the y 5, and replace these two values right here. So the x is negative 1, the y is 5. Now we have an equation where we can find out what the value of b is. Let's proceed with that equation. Negative 3 times negative 1 will be positive 3. We want to get rid of that 3, so we subtract 3 on both sides. The 3's cancel, they become 0. 5 minus 3 is 2, so b equals 2. Now we write the equation that we have so far, and we replace that b with 2. So this will be the answer: y equals negative 3x plus 2. Again, first we figure out what the slope is. Then to figure out the y-intercept, we use the point that they give us. That point is a point that this line crosses. So when you replace the x and the y in this equation, it has to provide you the value of b. Now let's see this other problem. Write the equation of the line perpendicular to y equals 2x plus 1 that passes through the point 6, 2. So first step is we copy paste the equation of the original line like this. Now a line that is perpendicular to this line, we have a slope that is the opposite reciprocal of 2. So the opposite reciprocal of 2 is negative 1 over 2. So this is the equation of the line perpendicular to the first one. But again, we know the slope, but we don't know the y-intercept. And as we saw before, to figure out the b, the y-intercept, we need to use this point 6, 2. So this is the equation, and we are going to use the point 6, 2, where 6 is the x value and 2 is the y value. So we replace, instead of x, 6, instead of y, 2. Now we start proceeding with this calculation. 6 divided by 2 would be 3, with a negative would be negative 3. To get rid of the negative 3, we add 3 on both sides. The negative 3 with a positive 3 is 0, they cancel each other. 3 plus 2 is 5, so b equals 5. Now we write the equation, and we just replace that b with 5, and we have the answer to our problem. Well, that's all for this lesson. Thank you very much.